Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. Right, Tucker? And Tucker is sitting here, and he is going to help me today. Aren't you? He said, yes, Daddy, I'm going to help you. Do you want to help me pick a book? I brought all these meditation books. I haven't read from any of these today. So we're going to spread these out and let Tucker pick which one we're going to read. Here you go. He said these two. So we're going to read from, they better be good. They better be good, buddy. So we're going to read from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations. He puts his nose where he wants to read. Okay, the Daily Book of Positive Quotations, and then we're going to also read, if we have time, Meditations for Living in Balance, okay, by Daily Solutions for People Who Do Too Much. Like Tucker and Boo! Right, Boo? Boo, do you want to come up here? He said, well, it really isn't fair that my brother gets to be in every movie, but I don't get to be a movie star. Boo, you're my movie star. Isn't he so sweet? They have been crazy running around today. They're waiting for their dad to come home. Okay. Let's get into this meditation. Let's see. June 9th. Cannot believe. Oh, Bradley's sneezing back there. An educated mind. June 9th, an educated mind. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Aristotle. Tucker's yawning and Boo Radley's licking my arm. Can we really be corrupted by hearing something we disagree with? We often act as if this were the case. We choose friends who tend to agree with us. What is it? He's scratching at my arm. We join organizations that believe what we believe. We live in places where everyone looks and acts pretty much like us. How fragile must our beliefs be if we resist even listening to opposing ideas? How weak would we have to be to fear being susceptible to every idea that enters our mind? The next time I'm ready to dismiss another person's ideas out of hand, I will stop myself and at least listen to what the person has to say. I still may dismiss the person's ideas, but I'll know something more about them and my own. Really interesting meditation. And you know, when I was younger, well, first of all, today, I don't know that I do surround myself with people that necessarily think and look exactly like I do. You know what I mean? Like, I think I have a very small group around me, but I feel like everybody's philosophies, I would say, their belief systems are similar when it comes to compassion, love, and kindness, I think. In the world, but I would say that our philosophies are different about some things, you know, and some person might believe this religiously, whereas I believe something differently, you know, spiritually, and, you know, so I think that my friend group is kind of mixed up, you know, and that's great because then I get to hear different ideas, you know. I've shared this on here before. My best friend and I, Tanya, have been friends for 23 plus years at this point, right? And we have had many issues in those 23 years. We've had one argument in 23 years, and it was like over cleaning a cabin when we were leaving from Lake Norris, Tennessee. We used to rent a cabin down there. It was a group of us that were all in recovery together. And it was over cleaning the kitchen at the very, I thought we were done, and we weren't done. And I said, are we not done yet? Or something like that. And she was stressed out. And the argument, I thought it was like the end of our friendship. She thought it was like the end of our friendship. And it lasted the length of our ride home because I rode home with my husband and she went home with her husband. And then I called her as soon as she got home because they were like an hour behind us. And I was like, Tanya, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm sorry too. That's like the one and only fight we've ever had in our entire lives. So anyway, but I wouldn't even say we've had we've had disagreements. I would say we've had different ideas and belief systems about certain things. And I know over time mine have changed, not because of her, but because I've been open to the conversation and I've listened. I try to, and I know she has changed as well. I try to, every day that I wake up, continue to remain open to being educated and seeing different stories. One of the reasons why I love to read is because you hear about different people's stories, different people's points of view other than your own. How boring the world would be if we only saw things from our points of view, you know? And I go back and I think about like when I was in college and Yes, when I was drinking, but after I got sober too, you know, those early 20s of mine, when one of my favorite things to do would be, you know, put on some music, and, you know, back then it was like the Cranberries or the Smiths or something, or I loved soundtracks. Like, I've always loved soundtracks. Like, Out of Africa was one of my favorite soundtracks back in the day. You know, to put on a soundtrack with some friends, light some candles, you know, and sit around, and when I was drinking, drank, and, you know, smoke some cigarettes, and, you know, afterwards it was drink coffee and smoke some cigarettes. I know, probably shouldn't be, but, and just stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning talking about all kinds of real deep issues, you know? Why is it that when we're that young, we're able, and maybe today's youth is different, I don't know. Maybe it was the people that I chose to spend my time with then, I have no idea. But why is it that when we're younger, we're able to have more open-minded conversations about things, but as we get older, we so firmly believe things that might come from a place of ignorance, you know? Because we just haven't seen another point, you know? And I think that it's always valuable in our world to stay open. You know, the saddest person, people ask me a lot, like, what's your biggest turnoff? I really don't have a lot of turnoffs, like, in people, like, meeting people, but I would say my biggest turnoff is somebody that is, like, they've come to the end of their learning. Like, they think they know everything, and that they're just done. They're like, you know, you can't tell them anything, and they don't really want to hear it. And the reason why that's a turnoff to me is not because I'm like, ooh, like, I can't stand that person. It's not like that. It's more, I feel sad for them. You're limiting your life experience when you think you have heard the end all, you know? It's like, when I want to be educated on something, I call my friends that can educate me on that. When I want to know something, I call my friends that can educate me on that, you know? When I want to know about somebody's experience, I look up YouTube videos, or I read a book about their experience. It's different than mine, you know? How am I to say that I know every experience of every person that's ever, I don't, you know? And so to have an opinion or a belief system based on my very limited experience in this world, you know, to me, to some degree, whether people, I know people hate this word, but that is privilege, you know? And it's stepping outside of that and saying, I want to learn more. I want to educate myself. I want to be a better person. Opening yourself to being educated, opening yourself to life lessons and learning other people's experiences. And, you know, like, Tanya the other day put up on her Facebook, like, she changed her profile picture to, you know, the quote from To Kill a Mockingbird, you know, that you don't truly know a person until you walk around on their front porch in their shoes. You don't. And even then you don't know them, right? But we do our best to understand one another, staying open to being educated, staying open to somebody saying, I understand that you see it that way. Let me share with you how I feel about things, right? But that's not really that person's job to educate us. It's our job to stay open to being educated. You know, I've always said that. I've always believed that, you know. I will say, like, when people come to me and they ask questions about, like, issues with being gay and coming out and things like that, you know, it is not my job to educate somebody on, like, what they don't know. And even over my life, when I've had coworkers and things like that that have asked me, like, real inappropriate questions, and I know this is a Peterisms video, but just things like, you know, when I've been in a relationship for, you know, 6 years, and someone says, so who's the pitcher, who's the catcher? Like, you wouldn't ask a married couple, you know, like, what they do in their bedroom. It's not an appropriate question. You don't ask people those questions, right? But instead of, like, going crazy and going nuts, you know, it's not my job to educate them, but I do choose to do that. I choose to let them know that maybe the wording that you're using is probably like, I wouldn't ask you that. Why do you think it's okay to ask me that? You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you get it, right? And they laugh. They're like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know. And then people will explain it, and they'll say, I just feel like, is there, like, a husband or a wife? Like, people don't understand sometimes. And this is just one very isolated issue of a gay man. Well, this is just my experience. There's hundreds of thousands of millions of experiences of gay men and women out there that have different experiences than mine, you know? And I think today more than ever is the time to be open to choosing to remain educated and listen to other people's stories. Don't be afraid to go up to somebody. Now, they may say, it's not my job to educate you. And that's true, okay? But don't be afraid to go up to somebody or call up a friend and say, I don't know what to say. I don't know what is right, what is wrong. Can you please tell me, like, I want to know better. I want to learn better. Look at resources that are out there. Educate yourself. There are fantastic books on anything that you want to learn about. Anything that you want to learn about, you know? But just be open, you know? And I feel like one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, besides getting sober, was the fact that I was an addict and an alcoholic to get sober. Because I learned these invaluable lessons, like, you know, the how of recovery, which is, you know, honest, open-minded, being honest, open-minded, and willing. Okay? Well, I still carry that with me in everything that I do every single day of my life. I carry that being honest, being open, and being willing in everything that I do. You know, whether that's in my successes or my failures and making mistakes, or not knowing something and staying open to it and being honest about, I don't know about this, could you please educate me? You know, and whether that is about world issues or a band that I've never heard of before, you know, whatever it's about, you know? And being willing to learn and willing to grow and willing to change. And that doesn't mean, you know, we always look at this change kind of idea as a negative thing, but change is a great thing, you know? He said, I'm done, Dad. It's time for the movie to be over. Anyway, let me know what you think about that, all that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.